You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Twisted After Show.
That's how you do that.
For the first time, I feel like I'm not the whitest person in the room.
You got me.
Hello, thank you for joining us again for the Twisted After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. This is Twisted episode 16 of season 1. The sun.
I said the sun also falls.
I know what the episode's called.
Totally.
It sounds like it looks like you said the snow falls.
I didn't, yeah.
And I was wondering what that was.
Right.
The sun also falls. Season 1, episode 16. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Stephen Lemieux, here for another Twisted recap at AFTERBUZZ TV, joined in part by our creators, Maria Menounos and Kevin Onegaro. Thanks for providing this studio for us. And joining me tonight on the panel is...
Erica J. Green, I'm back.
And Lina Green.
Got you.
I know you did.
So, yeah, this episode...
Let's just dive into it.
Let's just go into that.
Before we dive into it, I want to throw overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. I think there's a lot going on in this episode, so we have a lot to cover. And, you know, we're just going to plow through that. Plow through it.
Politically correct answer. And go ahead, Erica.
Yeah, I agree with Lina. The fans are fragile right now.
The fans are fragile. Thank you at Daisy Fans for tweeting us that the fans are fragile right now. Guys, I don't know where this show's going. Like, I like the show, I like the storylines, but I really don't know what I'm supposed to be looking forward to right now. I don't know what's going on. There's no future game right now.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, but there's no underlying theme that are tying all these stories together.
Where is it leading to?
Yeah, as soon as they killed Vikram, this was my worry. I was worried that there wouldn't be an overbearing theme because the first half of the season was so focused on what's going on and what was behind Regina and
Vikram.
Then we get the Private Eye, we get the Mayor, we get Marna Industries, we get all this interesting stories that all have one central point around Vikram.
Yeah, and it's gone.
Then this started with disintegrating that central point, and now we have all these stories just going off in different directions.
Yeah.
And Danny and Joe seem to be centralized, but I really don't know where it's going. And it's not in a good way either. Like, I like the first half of the season, but I know they got new writers. We've had a lot of YouTube comments, and a lot of people on YouTube agree with what I'm saying right now. That's why I'm playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Because I'm still watching the show, and I'm still holding out for the fact that we're probably going to get a good reveal in the next episode or two.
It's still interesting, and it keeps your, attention, but
right
there's
now.
just a lot of... it's throwing a lot at us right now, and it's a little...
New characters, too many. I'm trying to get invested in one character, and then here comes another character, and it's just...
And their storylines.
Some points are becoming redundant. And last week I said, why doesn't he want to tell Lacy? Because as soon as he tells Lacy, she's going to tell Joe. Okay, well, he tells Lacy something, and immediately she goes to Joe and tells her.
Predictable.
You're saying predictability now, so it's...
Not really predictability. It's like the characters are supposed to have some predictability, but when they throw that out the window with Danny's character traits this episode, I just don't even know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I think at the end it's going to tie back down to one thing, and I think that's where they're trying to go with it. So we're just going to have to put our seatbelts on and hold on for the long ride.
Ride this roller coaster.
Ride this roller coaster.
Episode 22.
That's right.
So we're so sorry about the rant, guys, but I know a lot of fans have said that, and I need to get it out there because otherwise they're gonna call us a bunch of yes men. And I do like the show. I'm not trying to put the show down. I'm just trying to say, like, the writers need to kind of step their game up if they're gonna keep the fan base entertained, because if ABC Family fans should I say that
are confused.
Are not really knowing where this is going. I mean, what are you going to do for the fans like me who are used to like really intelligent dramas? Who I'm just kind of like baffled at where it's going.
Yeah.
It needs to have at least one main focal point that can get us forward.
That could just drive us. And I'm hoping eventually that's where they're going to get back to. Just, I think they want to throw us off so much that we are frustrated, and then they're going to bring us back. Hopefully I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. Yeah. We'll just have to see.
Like I said, it can only get better.
And now that all of the fragile fans that are crying right now and tweeting at us.
Why are y'all doing this to us? Stop it.
Let's see. 3 tweets hating me right now.
We're going to get you.
We will break down the episode and we'll do some predictions about what's kind of going on. Because each storyline is so separate at this moment.
Yeah,
it's kind of easy to predict where each one's going to go. So let's start off with
Tess.
The snowfalls.
That was the
Tess and Kyle.
Okay.
So Tess, I feel for Tess at this point. I feel like her story is the only consistent one that we're getting here right now because it deals with the past and it's a recurring theme right now. But there's a lot going on. We find out that now Cal wants to find this child in order to make their marriage stronger and better.
What he said, yeah.
And that's basically where they're at now with Tess and Cal trying to mend their relationship after all the lying and stuff that she did.
Well, and she said, I just wanted you to have the perfect family. And
She's
then
lied a lot in the past. I'm really going to believe Tess right now? No.
I mean, you could say that that's probably how she was feeling at times. She was young when she went out, did something stupid. We've all been there. To some stupid, the ramifications were astronomical, more than she thought it would be, and she had a child. So I mean, yes, she was trying to clean it up, and no, she didn't go about it the right way. But
does she ever?
No. I mean, do you think? Okay, I know you're supposed to have complete transparency with your husband. But do you think he deserved to know about the child?
Yeah,
yes,
definitely. I don't think you can go into marriage with a lie.
Before they got married.
But do you think he would have stayed with her if she told him?
You know what? It's funny that you said it. They did break up when she did do this, but when she got married, she should have told him. Like beforehand, while they were dating, maybe she didn't need to disclose that information because he broke up with her. She had a kid.
But
that wasn't
is
his
she gonna
business.
build on lies now? Because didn't she say it wasn't? She said apparently it's not Vikram's baby, so they're gonna bring somebody else, introduce another man in there, or is it going to end up being Vikram's?
I mean, me and Stephen have our predictions on this. Do you want to go ahead and say what we predicted with this child?
I mean,
then we have to introduce that character.
It's just the way the writers have been going. Oh, okay. Well, I got a tweet by Daisy fan saying I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad that there's other people who feel that same way.
But going by how the writing has been going this second half of the season with the new writers, I hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
But it's just so blatantly obvious that Whitney is Tess's daughter.
You know, I had that thought, but then I was like, how are they going to honestly, if they do that, that's like pulling a rabbit out of a hat to me.
I know, and that's what I don't like.
And I don't want that to happen. It has to be something else because that's so far-fetched.
It's like the first half, they were so good at leaving clues that you could actually decipher later on and make sense.
Yeah.
But here it's like a character completely out of left field, out of nowhere that we never would have known about before. So it makes us feel like complete morons for all last week being like, oh, I think I know who her daughter could have been.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or even if they were going to throw a twist that Charlie was her son and she just lied and said it was a daughter. But this just makes us feel like, it feels like we're not worth it enough to know that there's another person out there. We never met this person before.
Or is it somebody who we've already been introduced to as a character and they're going to bring, like, it just feels like a lot's going to
Well, then tying them together, like, Jack had never mentioned he had a daughter before. Karen had never asked, hey, how's Whitney doing?
Her. Yeah,
and then everyone knows her. Like,
it confuses
oh, yeah, you were
me.
so little last time I saw you. It's like, wait, we've never heard of this character before.
Yeah. That totally threw me off. I was like, who is Whitney? Y'all know her? I don't know her.
Yeah.
And that confused me.
She's trying to be all buddy to all the...
Although I like her character. I like Whitney's character. I like her. She makes it a little bit more lighthearted. I feel like these kids have so much going on. Everything's just like...
So moody.
She makes it a lot more
I like her character.
Like Regina's character. She reminds me of Regina's character.
I know.
we know why
She reminds me of Regina's character, too.
She's the cute girl who's just there to mix stuff up. I
feel like they just should have thrown a line in there a few episodes back when Karen first went to Jack to see him at the boathouse. She should have asked about Whitney.
Yeah.
At least we would have had a name. We would have had, that's her daughter.
Yeah.
And then when we're introduced to it, it doesn't look like Jack just slept with his daughter.
That's what I
Oh
thought.
my gosh!
Thank
I was like,
you.
What is it? And then she's like, "Oh, you get so big." I was like, "Wait, is he?"
And
that made it look
then
incestuous.
Whitney
Yeah.
comes out. She goes, "Ooh, who, you know, you're hot." She says, "What did she say, Karen?" Like,
"Oh, you're really hot."
You're
You're
really-
hotter than the other ones.
yeah, and it just seemed like she was jealous, and I thought that was like Jack is sleeping with some
He
young
comes with his
girls.
shirt off and too. I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I gotta hand it to Jack here. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like,
that was weird. I'm glad you made comment of that because I was like, why would he come off with his shirt off and she's putting on like that didn't make sense
well,
to me.
it's just the whole way the scene was filmed and the way he acted. He was acting like he was. Sorry, you just walked on me having relations with a high school girl.
yeah.
Karen.
Then you find out it's the daughter. And then Karen looked like she didn't know who this. She was like, "Oh, Whitney."
And then she throws out. She's like, "Oh," and Whitney throws out the line. It's like, "Yeah, boobs. They make us look older." And I'm just like, "Okay, this is just a really awkward scene."
Such an awkward scene. There's a
like-
few awkward scenes that I'm like,
Girl, you be sleeping with your father.
well, we find out later
Well, maybe
that
if
her
she's-
stepfather is
Yeah.
trying to hit on her. So
Well, I mean,
So what-
technically, it might not be Jack's daughter by
Yeah.
blood, so it might be okay. I'm
that's
totally
still
kidding.
not
That's
okay.
terrible.
Please stop. That's not okay.
I still think she's Tess's daughter. Like, I still think that Whitney is Tess's daughter.
You know what? I don't want. That's what I thought at first, but I don't want to believe that because that's going to be quite a feat to pull that together. It's going to be quite a feat because
Well,
then
if
you're
they
having to say that Jack didn't. Like, it's a lot.
That Jack
But
knew,
I don't
yeah.
see any other reason for pulling this character out of
That's
thin
what I
air.
was like, she must know someone or something. I don't know where
She
she
used to
came
be on
from.
set a lot, and they just like, "Hey, come on."
And this also is just like, it's another example of they're not using the characters they have. It's like, I'm sorry, guys, but use the cast you have.
Where's Sharita? Yeah.
Where's Sharita? Where's Tyler? Where's Tyler's
Wow,
sister?
I didn't
Where's
know.
all these
Yeah.
characters that you had in the first half of the season?
They're gone, and it's like
Did Danny kill them? Danny straight up murdered all these
You
characters.
go from okay. Can we talk about Danny? Are we off of Tess?
No,
and-
we're not yet.
Okay.
because we do want to talk about that whole thing with Karen and Jack and all that. Sorry, I just totally lost my train of thought. We wanted to talk about
Whitney, Karen, and Jack. Or?
Whitney talking about her stepfather
Okay, yeah.
coming on to her. But before we do that, we're actually going to go on a real quick commercial break just for a quick minute for something special we got cooking up in the books for you guys.
Tuesdays on Oxygen.
I'm Maria Menounos, and my life can get a little crazy. I host Extra. I'm an actor, producer, dancer, wrestler, and a lot of other things. I live with Kevin, my boyfriend of 15 years. Do you really love me?
I would say that I'm in serious like.
And my parents. Yep, I just said I live with my parents.
You drive me crazy.
You drive me crazy. My parents want us to get married.
You both love each other. Get married.
Kevin and I don't. I am going to get married when I want to get married. I think I want kids. Kevin definitely doesn't want them now.
This is being pushed on to us.
And of course, my parents wanted them yesterday.
This year, you gotta have it.
And I have a house full of people counting on me financially. If I take my eye off the ball, everything can fall apart.
It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or wants us to do. It's what we want to do.
Everyone thinks that they know what's best for me, but I'm really the only one. I have got to figure things out.
Chasing Maria Menounos is so new. Every Tuesday at 10, 9 Central, starting March 18, only on Oxygen.
And we are
fun.
back. Yeah, that's going to be. You might actually see me in that. So you guys
Ooh,
should definitely check
cameo.
it. Oh yeah, it goes behind the scenes with some AfterBuzz TV things. You'll see our producers Phil Svitek, Marissa Serafini. You'll probably see me, although I wasn't usually there on some of the filming days because I was like,
You're such a superstar.
well, I was doing work and other things like that. No, I'm just kidding. It's going to be a great show, and it's not like the other reality shows where it's all cooked.
Yeah,
Like,
it sounds fun.
Literally, like there's some scary moments in the show where it's not planned at all, and stuff gets real, and you're just like, whoa. So definitely check that out on Oxygen March 18th at 10 p.m. right after Bad Girls Club. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about how she mentions that his stepfather was making advances on her.
Was that
It
needed?
was just a story made up so she could stay, I think. I don't think it was true, whatever. I think she kind of just made it up so she could stay at the high school and stay with her dad, Jack.
My theory behind this is that the stories between Tess and Kyle and the stories between her and Jack are coinciding with she's trying to find out who her biological parents are, and I think that's why she wants to come stay with Jack to figure that out. That's where I'm going with that, but even then, they just introduced a character for literally that reason alone, which opened up another storyline that we're just like, okay, great. Now we have Jack versus the stepfather. So are we going to meet the stepfather? Are we going to meet the mother? Like,
did you think there was a point when Jack was like, if you ever put your hand on my daughter again, I'm going to shoot you in your leg?
That was just to show Jack's character.
Do you think he's capable of killing and then they're going to introduce him? Because sometimes the way they shoot it, they make it so that it's such an emphasis on something that they're making.
I think they did that just because how Karen went into saying, oh, Jack, you're always protecting the ones you love, how she's trying to figure out if Jack was the one who moved Vikram's body and set up the whole
Well,
thing.
it says a lot about Jack's character that he talks about, I'll shoot you. And it also says a lot about his character that Karen immediately assumes that Jack's the one that moved the body when she finds out.
Karen's so naive in this. Her character is there's a naivety in it. Like, she's like, oh, he just loves me so much. Like, for you to just think that he moved, like he risked his life in jail because he loves me. So, like, nobody's going to just, I mean, literally. But yeah, there's a lot of naivety. He hates when I talk about Karen. He's like, not Karen.
Not Karen.
Not my hot mama. Okay, but...
And then the episode actually opened up with, apparently she didn't know that the body had been moved, so she's talking to Danny, and she actually wants to protect Danny, of course, and she reaffirms that, look, if you didn't do that like he deserved it, you should have done that, blah, blah, blah.
Which I've been saying all along.
Moving on, what was the next one we want to talk about?
Well,
Joe?
I thought we were talking about, go ahead and talk about Danny. His character.
Let's talk about Joe. Okay. Let's save Danny for last.
Okay, fine.
Honestly, we have to save Danny for last.
So Joe's trying to get into college.
Yep.
And she's
trying
a smart,
to refocus.
Yeah, she's a smart kid. She makes straight A's, but she has no extracurricular activities except Danny, who she obsesses over all day. And now she's in this crazy hippie counselor's office. Who she's like,
I didn't hate my high school counselor, but the flippancy of high school counselors in public schools can be terrible.
I loved mine. She was awesome. She was awesome.
Was yours awesome?
I think they just threw this in here so Joe can have a refocus and then not all be about her being fixated on Danny and trying to make that relationship with Charlie work now. And I don't know, it was a little weird.
It was weird. So okay, so I apparently can't get into college with my amazing GPA.
That's what I was like. I was like, if she makes such great
what colleges are you trying to get into,
Harvard,
girl?
and actually, I mean, I did go talk to some Harvard people. But
look at this girl.
They do want you to have because they get smart people all the time, and so you have to stand above and beyond to get into those top colleges. So I can understand where she's going, but you can't just join, become a student president and think that they trace that stuff back to your freshman.
I think that was so short-lived just to throw her off on something else.
I just think the whole scene with the speeches where they gave literally minute-long speeches. I'm just like, really, guys? Back in my high school, when people ran for president, nobody really even ran for president unless they were just the popular kid anyway.
Really?
And then nobody in the student body gave a crap no matter what they were saying because they knew that anything they said wouldn't happen anyway.
No, we took it serious at our school. You had to be the top GPA people to even get nominated, and then it was such an honor. And you got to go to some of your top schools if you were the class. They were fighting over that. We went to a magnet school.
But that definitely wasn't the case in this episode.
And stuff.
Presidents be coming from your magnet school.
Pizza. I thought the pizza guy was gonna. Well, they didn't say a winner, did they?
No. His girlfriend won.
Andy won.
Yeah, Andy won.
Did she?
I thought the pizza guy was gonna.
Oh yeah, they balloons at the end at the cafe.
They insinuated that she won.
I thought the pizza's pretty
So she decides that she's gonna run, and then awkward, they see Charlie and Joe and everyone talking. So Charlie's gonna be her campaign manager. We find out that Rico's been Andy's campaign manager. And lo and behold, they're setting a conflict up between Andy and Joe. Andy wants to back out, and then Rico convinces her to stay. Rico writes a terrible speech for her.
Tries to be funny. She goes to Rico for his comedy chops.
We get some exaggerations from the audience if everyone's sleeping.
That was overly exaggerated.
And then
Rico gets balls and tries to confront Joe.
I love how he told Joe off before. He was like, "You're selfish, Joe. You're doing this just for yourself." Andy actually had a lot of heart in it, and she wanted to really help the student body. So I was glad that Andy really wanted
The only thing I liked that came from that whole little part of the episode was that Rico finally showed that he had balls, stood up to Joe.
He stood up to Joe.
Well, he's done it before where he's like, you keep pulling me around, Joe. I'm not, he's done
like,
it
I got to
before.
back my girl now. So good job, Rico. Hand clap. Okay. Nothing else on Rico today because he was totally not even in that episode. And I love Rico.
He was a big part of it. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, Joe.
He helped her win. Sure.
That speech was horrible. Was he serious?
It was terrible. It was like a 5-second speech, and like Andy is not a public speaker by any means.
What if you're going out for I would think you would
watch Andy
be
be Tess's daughter.
somewhat of.
So Joe, of course, concedes the presidency to Andy, convinces everyone, and I thought Joe was going to get elected anyway. It was going to be one of those things like she
Me
tries
too.
to do it,
Because
and
she
then
was
she gets elected
yeah.
anyway. And that way she would keep her friendship with Rico, and then be like, "Oh my God, I don't know what happened."
I'm a good person.
But yeah, so that throws it back to that, and that storyline basically ends. So that didn't really go anywhere. And
it served its purpose.
yeah, it served its purpose.
I think it
Gives
served
Joe
its-
an episode.
yeah.
But again, it's just another poor Joe, like thinking about herself, and then okay, now she
I mean,
thinks about
it
others.
definitely gives you insight into Joe's character and how some people might have felt about her.
Yeah, a little bit. So then we moving right along. We get
It's so funny.
we get some bad handwriting that I can't read.
I said Danny. Oh, we talked about Randy and Danny's issues. Like Danny and
Richie and Joe.
that's Rico and that's not. That's Rico and Andy.
It's Danny now, because Danny has so many.
Because we got to
parts.
talk
You guys are
about
gonna make me put my glasses
Danny
on
and
to see this.
Lacey.
Lacy. That's why I put Danny up there, so we could talk about the Lacy thing, his money, how he's blowing it, and all that stuff.
The dreams of him and his
'Cause
father, Vikram, visiting him. We
Charlie,
on that.
which one did Charlie tell it to? Lacey or Joe? I can't remember.
Joe.
Charlie's talking to Joe.
Oh, you're talking about what he told about.
Yeah, about Danny doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so he talked
That's
to
at
Joe.
the end after Danny. so-
Okay, so we'll talk about Danny then. All right, so Danny told his mom, and then he has this date with Lacey, and he's like going
I mean, he has
balls
the
out.
Wait, he has
Oh, the hallucination, yes, the dream.
Yeah, well, he has the date with Lacy because Lacy is repeatedly coming up to him, asking him, "What's going on? You're lying to me."
trying to
over and
throw
over
her
again.
off.
He's doing bad in school, and she sees him like tell the teacher, that
Pay off the teacher.
She didn't see him pay off the teacher, but she saw him talk to the teacher, and then she realizes she
Put it
puts two and two
together,
together, realizes that he paid off the teacher and that he's changing, not for the good. And then the whole thing with his father, he's
That was his mind subconsciously telling him, spend the money, blow it. Because whose father comes, oh, you killed me. Now
It
spend the
can
money.
suppress the demons.
I mean, I think honestly that was some closure on his part, but
I mean, I don't know why he wants this drama. Like, if I was Danny in this situation, I'd be like, all right, screw all y'all. I'm getting the hell out of this
I
town.
would they couldn't leave. You remember in the beginning they couldn't leave because of the house and they didn't have any money. They can totally leave now.
It's like Lacey, like, you're going to freak out and then say to go back to Joe. It's like, all right, well, peace.
Yeah,
But
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
It doesn't seem to be the city, though. It's Danny. I mean,
I think
he's
drama
kinda
follows
just-
him wherever he goes. So
Probably.
anywhere he went.
But, I mean, he could just be alone in, like, a castle somewhere. Like,
$10 million these
yeah,
days,
no.
they gonna get you that much. He already
he live in
blew through
California?
millions of.
But Lacey calls him out on it when he gives her the necklace, and he's like, "You're bribing me, just like you bribed your teacher."
Yeah.
What really happened? I can't tell you that I killed my father.
And his anger is like, I cannot tell you.
Okay, I killed him.
I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you that I killed my father.
Here's Lacy.
I killed him.
You killed someone.
And Joe knows.
Wait, Joe knows?
Yes,
Why
because
would you
we're.
wait.
I gotta say something. Why was she more mad about Joe knowing Joe actually killing his
As
dad?
soon as he said, and Joe knows. Why did he throw Joe under
She
the bus?
was there?
After he told Joe not to tell Lacy, and Joe's been covering from him. Then he goes, and Joe knows. Like, he said it like a kid would be like, and she did it too.
She knows.
She did it too.
She was in on it.
and Lacy's like,
Conspiracy
what?
to murder.
Like, she felt bad for him when he told her that he killed his father.
Initially.
But then when he says Joe knows, she's like, you see the attitude come out. Lacey's never got attitude.
Lacey went Kerry Washington. She even had like the
She
Kerry
did.
Washington
I was
thing on.
I'm done.
We're like, girls dressed like Scandal, and she's in a Scandal like Joe knows.
I saw Gabrielle Union come out of her when she was like, oh, what? And I was like, come on, Lacey. I didn't.
Your boyfriend just
Told you that he killed his father, and you're mad because you think he has feelings for Joe.
And then she says, one of the most important points in your life, and you did it with Joe.
Now you're getting out of jail. You're coming home and trying to fix your life, but you killed your father. And I
That
should have
part-
known that.
I should have been there. You didn't send me an invitation. You didn't let me RSVP to you killing your father.
Lacey, but she was. I'm like, really, this is not about you, girl.
That threw me off. That was like, did you really get mad because Joe knew?
Well, because there's so many times when there's been other things that Joe knew about that she didn't, and she knew about that Joe didn't, and I'm just like,
it was
what?
Yeah, and then they put that hashtag. Is Joe the one?
No.
Is Joe the one? After all that, you dissed her in front of everybody, and now she's the one?
And then he tries to go, he gets real close up on her, Joe. And she's like, Danny.
He's like, well, at least I guess I'm not getting Lacey now. I might as well move on.
And then Charlie, poor Charlie, what's going to happen to Charlie? Like, he already dropped Lacey because Danny, and now he's moving back in on Joe. That's just...
I can't.
That whole thing was so funny.
I can't. I just can't. I can't.
I just can't.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about when he went to confront Joe.
Yeah, so he texted Joe and he's like, I have something to tell you.
Again, and she like,
did he take his hair down and he's breathing out? And she's like, what? You know, she knows too. She feels it. What? You're
I was in juvie with Danny.
No, I'm not talking about with Charlie.
Stephen was too.
I thought we were talking about
when first
when Danny went to Joe.
Goes sees Joe.
It's just like,
and he comes
Joe.
on. He wants to kiss her clearly. He's like, Joe, I think there's something else.
I hope he was.
She think there's more.
Okay.
Between us. I ran here. I'm sorry.
I came through your window again.
No, he actually came through the front door.
That's a rarity. Why is everybody,
he did come
through.
Okay, why is everybody always in the window? Vikram hanging out the window in the dream. What's up with the window?
And then Joe, who has absolute faith in Danny, who of course this episode's like, I need some alone time, so get away from me. Then talks to him and is like, oh my God, like, maybe you knew that you were going to kill your father, so you killed your father, and then you just brought me into it like everything. Girl, you insert yourself.
Yeah, I think she did that because he was getting really close, and she still has strong feelings for him, and she did. I think she did that just.
You can't do lines that have subtle lies in them though, like that. Like you can't expect the audience to think that she's doesn't believe what she's saying. Because it sounded like she believed what she's saying, and now she thinks that he was manipulating her into being there that night so she could witness him kill her father.
I mean, that's a stretch. For when she said that, I was like, don't give Danny that much credit. He's not, like, you put yourself in it. She literally begged him to go with him.
Oh, yeah.
To go with the father. So her saying that was such a stretch.
Yeah.
He tried to get her out of there so many times.
Well,
so
she
that
just
was
puts herself in every situation.
And then she turns it around.
Yeah, it's like, I made sure I was here to see you because I was worried about you. Oh, your father's dead. Don't tell anyone. We'll keep it our secret together.
And it's like, you made me do this.
Then, wait a minute. And then she knew because Vikram was coming after her. So you knew that was self-defense. But you know, Joe tries to play the victim. Oh, you doing this to me. Everybody does Joe wrong. So
I'm gonna quote another host here, Tony Moore. Child, you need to take a seat. Just seriously, like,
hashtag poor Joe.
Hashtag Joe take a seat. All right.
Yeah.
And I was starting to like her. She started to get her phone back.
I like Joe's character. Honestly, I do. I like her chemistry. Charlie is really out the wazoo.
So this all came from Charlie actually telling her that he was in juvie, and Danny went through the period of figuring out that his dad had manipulated him, and he wanted to kill his dad, and he talked about killing his dad, and he really wanted to kill his dad because I need to mention killing dads more in this sentence because Lacey, I killed my father.
I wish we had like
I don't even know why Charlie would take that so literal. Like, if you're in juvie all your life, your dad said
you're gonna say
mad. You're gonna kill Lina all the time. Don't get that
this.
And a lot's happened since he's been in juvie. Do they really
it's like, and for you to really still hold that, you follow him there and then tell his best friend. Like,
I want to know what Charlie's point is, please.
Well, they allude that Charlie's there for some other stuff. They allude that for the next episode. We'll see what happens.
Didn't watch the scene, so I don't know. Well, because I watched.
Well, you could tell Charlie's character has been a little questionable. Yeah. Just from him following Lacey, all that
I think we're gonna have Whitney try to take Charlie.
Nobody wants Charlie. I'm sorry. I think Charlie has pushed himself off. Not that Charlie's a good-looking guy.
Nobody wants you, Charlie. Nobody.
Charlie. Joe does. It's obvious.
Lacey doesn't want you. Lacey number 2 doesn't want you. Lacey number 3 doesn't want you.
I think Charlie's cute, but
nobody likes you. Guys, I think that's the episode. Let's go into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So we've been having a lot of people tweet at us that the ratings have been down for the past few episodes. I think that's really just because of the things we pointed out at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
Mostly the writers just need to kind of get into the swing of things. It might be just because they're new, and I think they kind of need to get... They're basically taking one path and trying to force it over to another path, and I think we're just in that middle period right here, where after another episode or two, it'll be right on where they want to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll bear with it. I'll stick in there.
Stick with the fans, because I think they're not gonna
get better.
disappoint us. It's Twisted, and they're just keeping us on our toes. So
Vikram's gonna come back to life.
if that, I kept thinking that was gonna happen.
He's gonna be a zombie. Zombies rule. No. Okay. Maybe not.
Yeah,
No,
but
no zombies.
I mean, that's really all the news and gossip I had. So moving on to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I don't really know what's going. No, I honestly, I don't know where it's going. Like, the only prediction I can give you is that I think Whitney is Tess's adopted daughter, who Vikram gave him to Jack, and that's kind of like Jack worked for Vikram, so that's why they keep the truce, and that's why they did a closed adoption. All of that going on, I think the whole thing is made up about her stepdad, because she knew that would make Jack keep her there, and now she wants to find out who her biological parents are, and her and Tess, they're going to have some dramatic irony because she's going to find out, but Tess isn't going to know, and then Tess is going to do something that puts her out of the way, and maybe we'll see Tess die. Who knows? Those are my...
Why do you always want to kill people?
People got to die.
There's a lot of people.
Because this is Twisted, and we haven't seen somebody die for a while, except for Vikram, so somebody's going to die soon.
People coming.
And we need to have some storyline for all of this to go into. And if somebody...
Charlie!
Oh yeah, I think Charlie has to die.
No, hashtag Joe is the one.
Although I like I really like Charlie.
All right, well, that's mine. Go for it.
My prediction is that Jack knows more than he's letting on. Him and Karen are going to end up running off with the money, and they're going to set Danny up again. That's my prediction.
No,
Go.
Karen loves Danny.
Sure, she does.
My prediction is that, everything's going to end up good for Danny. He's going to stop being crazy. And eventually... we'll find out that Whitney probably is Tess's kid. But it's funny how Tess hasn't had no reaction, like any interaction with Jack yet. So I'm interested to see if those characters come together at all.
That'd be awkward. Karen's now with Jack, and then Tess meets Jack, and Tess finds out that Jack's daughter is her daughter, and then Karen's like, what the hell?
You did it to me again, you liar.
So, where can we find you ladies tonight? Or not tonight, like in general on social media and things like that.
Oh, you know where to find me, Stephen.
Oh. Anyway, you can find me at Erica J. Green on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much every social network.
And you can find me at Just Lina Green on Instagram and Twitter. And then on Facebook, I think it's Locust Flower. But I don't know. They make you change that thing. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Check it out. You can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux. It's StephenLemieux. I'm probably pointing to the wrong side of the screen right now. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. Tweet at us about the show. Tell us what you think. Go ahead and go on iTunes and rate us and give us 5 stars. We love your comments on iTunes. And we didn't do shout outs this week because we unfortunately didn't have time, but we'll shout you out next week. And also touch me on the Helix show. If you're not watching Helix on Sci-Fi, watch Helix. Really good show. And now it's on episode 11, so you can binge watch it. It's amazing. And then check out our after show because we have interviews with the creators, with the actors, everyone coming into AfterBuzz for the podcast. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll be back next week for Twisted Season 1, Episode 17. Title is leaving me right now because I don't know the title. All right, bye guys. Thanks again.
I was like, oh, that's
From
deep.
executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
I just can't.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.